Hello, today I'm going to be doing a tier list. I thought, why not give a tier list for a really cool game that has tarot cards in it? Why not? So I have the tier list over here, and we can just begin. So to start off, we have the Fool. We have the Fool, which it's unlocked by default, and he has some skills, but really it's not too terribly useful. You might occasionally put this on a guy for treasure hunt, but that early treasure hunt has the cost of making it so you're down a lot of empty blank tarot cards. So due to that, I'm just going to put him C tier. Like, he's not terrible. The treasure hunt can be useful. Maybe you want to go for speed formation on, I guess, like a cannoneer or something, but overall, not good at all. Uh, but it has at least a slate tag, so there's at least something going for it. After that, we have the Magician. Now, the Magician is actually a pretty good one early on because slaying human is really useful considering that a large percent of the game's units are human. I'd say maybe like 30%. Sure, it's not useful against demons, like it's useless in Alhazard, but aside from that, like you can always just put on some Bounty Hunter in order to get some early econ going. Very good econ card. Also very good for getting slay human. Sure, the blast isn't the most useful, but I'd say that this is probably a really nice card. So I'm just going to put this one up in A for when you get it. Obviously, it's not as powerful as the later cards because it's only a rarity 1 card, but I'd slap this on to, what is it? The giant dragon with a cannon. I'd slap it on a colossal dragon. I'd also just put it on one of my first hires to just get a little extra power out of them. And again, Bounty Hunter is great for economy. After that, we have High Priestess. High Priestess is definitely a much more situational card. The kind defense only I actually have found to use before. I ended up putting it on a unit. I forgot what the unit was, but no, it was Earth Dragon. I ended up using kind on an Earth Dragon in order to make it defense only, give it forward guard with some other thing. Really strong tank, because it didn't have that many attack skills. Aside from defense only, there's not much that it offers. Division Heal 3, I guess, can be alright, but most of the time you'd rather just pay $400, $450 to get a staff that does the same. So division healing isn't that useful. Also losing attack early on, not great. And there's not too many good force skills, so that wisdom's not useful. The parry, I guess, can be good. You can put this together with some other parry skill, and then you end up with plus 10 parry, and that on a 30 parry unit can get you, blocking half the time, but that's really only useful if you haven't yet figured out how class composition works, because once you figure out how class composition works, your fighters are going to all be glass cannons, because they're not supposed to be taking damage. That's supposed to be the role of the defender, and then either have another guy with forward guard or something else. So they shouldn't be attacked, so parry isn't too useful. Still, though, not too terrible. Don't see it used for violent or anything, but defense only and division heal. I might use this sometimes. So, let's put that one in B. Up next, we have the Empress. The Empress is one that you will unlock at 12 Law or 17 Law and Chaos. Um, this card is alright, I suppose. It's pretty good when it comes to the Hardy Physique 20 that you can get from the Mom keyword. That one's really powerful. Powerful, however, I don't think is as powerful. Generally, Sap Attack 7 is not going to be too useful by the time that you have 8,000 elixir to spend. So, that probably is not what you want to do. But, I mean, like, the numbers are just nice on this. It has nice numbers. Sure, it's rarity 5, so that you are spending a pretty penny in order to get this, and probably wouldn't put it on compared to other ones, but it at least has some marginal use. So for that reason, let's put it in B. Uh, It's an alright card. I really think that Hardy Physique 20 is really good when it comes to tanks. Because you put Hardy Physique 20 on someone that already has 30 Hardy Physique, that bumps them up to 50. That means they're taking double damage, well, half damage. And then throw in like another 20 from a different title, throw in 10 from a different title, or just throw in the other 30 from like a shield or a piece of armor. And that can get you 80 Hardy Physique, which is times 5 health. That's strong stuff. So don't underestimate Mob on this one. Then we have the Emperor. Emperor is available much earlier. He's a 5 Law or 7 Law in Chaos. This card has a bunch of Slay Knights, if you want. Also features defense tactics. Not that you'd really want to put defense formation on a guy that doesn't have it by default, but, you know, maybe you can just slap that on. I don't think Officer is that great, and double hit is a bit questionable. You're losing a lot of stats, and it's not even a guaranteed attack. I haven't actually used the Emperor one, because most of the time I don't build my squads around Knights. I find that it's much more reliable to use undead nature synergies. But you know, if you get this one early enough, I guess you can slap it onto some Dragon Knight and then put it in Melia squad. That could do a lot of good. Cavalry Killer is quite nice as well. It gives lethal crit, which is really useful if you ever have a guy with a critical boost skill. Gives speed, which is actually really strong. It's really easy to underestimate speed if you're beginning the game, but first hits greatly weaken the enemy's counterattacks, so having speed on one of your cleavers or something else it can do a whole lot. Because it means that your guy attacks first, which kills one of their important guys, and that guy was probably either boosting some stat or he was a really deadly threat. Also, you know, Slay Knight, useful attribute. We're going to have to face the Empire later on, and they have a lot of Dragon Knights, so Slay Knight is not entirely useless. So yeah, I'm going to say that Emperor is actually a pretty good one. I'm going to put that guy up in A. Very solid card. Very solid card. Next up, we have the Hierophant. This guy is unlocked by default. You will have to pay the 2,000 in order to get him initially, in order to make it so you can unlock, get random drops of it. The Hierophant is, you know, really easy to build around. You can go for Friendship, for Division Heal, but most of the time you're just picking up stuff that gives Slay skills. So you have Prince, which gives Slay Woman and Treasure Hunt. That -10 attack, though, is kind of vicious, so I guess you put this on a caster that you also want to have work economy, I suppose. I never really went for it because I'm scared by big red numbers, so I just sometimes went photosynthesis in order to get like an early Unicolon or something else, just strengthen up my nature squad a bit before I get Elman or Kukul. Once you get Elman and Kukul, it's still more boost, which is quite nice. Pretty alright card. Grab it if you want to bring your nature guys to Alhazard. It's an alright card. Nothing I'd write home about, though. Next up, we have Lovers. Lovers is unlocked by default. It's a 500 resource card, so can be put on most units, except the big turtle dragon with a cannon. Has alright stuff. You can put human boost on it in order to get your human squads a bit more anti-human capability. So, you know, if you put this on some of your human squads before heading off to Diahelm, that can get you a very nice Slay option, as well as the boost is good. It's cheap, it's affordable, it's an alright left slot one. Aside from that, you have max power attack. I don't fully know how it works. I think it's just take 10% more damage on counterattacks, deal 10% more. I mean, it's a nice damage boost, but don't like big red numbers, and that is a big wisdom penalty, so not getting much force out of your unit. Other than that, not too impressed. Tiny Physique 5 is not at a number where it matters. 5% evade chance, but 5% more damage. That's a yikes for me. You want to get those numbers up. Because once you're taking 50% more damage, but dodging half the time, that's when it gets good. The whole saps, that sap man, sap woman, the problem with these is that either they give a massive speed penalty, so that means that your guy isn't ever doing anything, or they give a big defense penalty, so that means that your guy's just going to die real fast. I might put this on maybe a caster if I'd want, because generally you don't want your hitters to have a speed penalty, and defense is still marginally important for them so they can survive some counterattacks. But if you put it on the caster, I don't know why you are going to be enjoying the attack, because most of the time you want defense only on your casters. So overall, it's a really confusing one. Sure, Lovers is useful early on. It can help you get through Alhazard as well as what's the Fort Laos? Yeah, it can help you get through Fort Laos and Alhazard. So, I'm not going to diss it there, but aside from that, it's not too great. It's mainly getting carried by the Lovers, which I guess puts it the same with the Fool, because the Fool gets carried by the Slay mech that it offers. Then we have Chariot. Chariot is unlocked by default, but you're going to have to pay the initial 2,000 in order to get it into your arsenal to start dropping. This one offers Slay mech with no red numbers, so you think, oh wow, that's so nice. The skill is useless. Wall break is a really not great skill, because how wall works in this game is that it's the square root of your wall gets added to your defense. So yeah, getting wall breaker when they have no wall, like the first 50 is actually kind of important, because most of your terrains give them 50 wall, so the first 50 wall breaker actually can be alright. So it's not utterly useless, but once you get past that, it's questionable, because wall can give like 300 wall doesn't give much. It gives maybe 20 defense, and 50 wall gives what? I don't know. I made the mistake of doing math. Anyway, this one also offers Treasure Hunt, measly 4 attack on that, but Slay Demon is a useful skill, and you can put this on. I find that generally I don't have that enough spare economy in order to put Treasure Hunt 6 for such a measly gain, because most of the time you want to be putting some cheaper treasure hunts onto your guys in order to, build up your economy. Let's see, this card also offers Forward Guard, which is a really strong skill. I'd put this on most tanks that are lacking it. Gives you a bit more opportunity and freedom on what type of shield you want to select. Defense formation, not too useful if the unit either has it. I don't think that a slight stat boost for your other guys is useful. Warhammer offers Helmet Split if you really want to reach that 80, because getting stuck on 75 is kind of embarrassing due to the fact that it caps at 80 and 5 times damage is better than 4 times damage. The max powered attack doesn't really seem to have much drawbacks, unlike some of the other ones. The counter amp is really strong, and Dauntless can be useful if you want to quickly hike up loyalty on some other stuff, but most of the time you do that in New Game Plus and you've unlocked some other guy, some other card to get access to it. Overall, it seems like a very, very solid card. I would not go for the Wall Builder, but aside from the Wall Builder, all those seem useful in some degree or another. So I'm going to go put Chariot up in A tier. Like, it's quite a nice card. So, let's go on to the next one. Then we have Justice. Justice is unlocked at 5 Law, or Law in Chaos equals 7. It has a lot of slay skills. Like, wow, look at that. 5 different slays. Well, 2 of them are duplicates. It's a rarity 4/1, which means that you're going to pay a little bit for this, but it can fit on most unit types. We have Justice, which gives a divine boost. I'm sure that if you're building angels that early, it can be alright. Sun Worship can be nice if your guy already has Knight attuned. It gives you Slay Knight and just a little bit of all stats, but those are kind of weak numbers. Really what you want to go for is Holy Knight for the crit boost, Slay Demon, or Cryptid Killer for flank attack, because flank attack is quite a strong skill. It's good to have on your units because it allows you to ignore the big chunky tanks and go immediately for their archers or other big hard killers like spearmen or something. Zap Undead can be situationally useful. Maybe you want to go into Alhazard and you can slap this on someone. Or maybe you just are floating loads of money and you want to put this on someone that doesn't attack, so I guess a backline or a tank. Gives good stats. Overall, really nice card. Really nice card. The Holy Knight and Cryptid Killer allow you to do so much. You can just slap this on any unit that's missing it. Crit Boost is always good, and Slay Demon is probably one of the most useful tags in the game. So for that reason, I'm going to bring this up to A tier. That's S tier. Let's bring it up to S tier. Up next, we have the Hermit. Hermit is unlocked by default. You have to pay 2,000 in order to have it start dropping. And I haven't actually looked at what units this unlocks because units require specific Arcana cards in order to hire. But the Hermit itself is a bit special. So you have Amplification, which gives you Wisdom. Sucks that it saps your defense, but hey, maybe that's what you need for a whole lot of spell casting. It also has Poison Needle, which actually, upon review, looks pretty good, aside from the fact that most combat situations only last one turn because they're encounter battles, so Poison Attack is not going to be useful there. But hey, it gives nice speed and attack, and maybe you can afford to spend 2,000 in order to get that. We also have Oceanic, which provides nice speed and gives Self-D Barrier as well as a Slay, so maybe you want to put this on before heading out to either the future or heading out to Fort Laos, because Slay Aquatic is quite nice. And Self-D Barrier, once you get a couple of it, it can be quite strong. It's really annoying to lose all of your guys to suicidal robots. We also have Laser here. I haven't really gone for it. I'm sure that it has its uses, but I find that flying units generally have evade, so it's questionable how useful getting a range attack for that is. I'd much rather risk my guy dying to some counter amp 500 tank than put range attack on someone. I don't know the reason why you'd go ambush tactics. You can use Ancient for a bit of Slayer defense. I guess if your guy already has 6 Slayer types and you just don't want him to die. Bounty Hunter is a bit expensive for an econ thing, but maybe you want to go. And then none of the other ones are actually that useful. Acid Blast 4 is just so weak because it's an end of turn thing that targets one enemy, and sure it deals damage and goes through barrier, but most of the time enemies can just have a heal 12 and it's useless. So I'd say that Hermit probably matches its growth stat and goes into the D tier because I've never found myself going for this card because there's just better options out there. Again, self-destruct barrier might be useful, but other than that, I don't see it. We have Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, now this is a card. It's unlocked by default. You do have to pay 2,000 to have it start dropping, but my goodness, what this offers is amazing. Don't look at Desire Senior. That's big scary numbers. I don't like big scary numbers that are penalty, but it gives you the one of two options to get Day Attuned, which is a very useful skill if you ever want to hire vampires. It also features the beloved Dragon Strike, which gives 16 attack and Slay Dragon. That's really strong. Sure, they got rid of the 5 helmet split on it and replaced it with Defense Debuff 8, but I'd argue that that's probably more useful early on in the game. And it's actually kind of easy to get people capped out at 80 helmet split, so Defense Debuff, and it has its uses. Maybe you get a multi-ailment, or maybe you get someone with added attacks. So, Defense Debuff, it's not a useless skill. For some reason, a lot of the units have duplicate debuff cure and absolute cure. I don't know what the deal with that is, but it's there. We also feature, I guess, dragon scales if you want it, but the other key here is massive. Massive is Hardy Physique 15. This is like the Empress Mom, but it's available earlier for cheaper on the elixir cost. Yeah, overall, I'd say Wheel of Fortune, very strong card. Dragon Strike is as powerful as ever. You're going to be facing dragons in this game. Millie is a dragon. Ash is a dragon. There's a lot of dragons when you have to face Hysteria. Dragon Slay is just useful. You even have dragons when you end up facing the Bara because there's a Bara dragon. So yeah, you're going to face that in Chaos. You're going to face that in Law. You're going to face that everywhere. Dragons are just like a key part of this game, especially because one of the major antagonist factions is a dragon. Kind of like how it was back in Hollow, well, in the future in Hollow. Or, again, it's a really powerful skill. It allows you to ignore dragon scales. Just good card. I'd say let's put this sucker all the way up on A. Maybe S. I find myself putting that title on a whole lot of guys. I'm gonna put it on A. No. S. It has multiple useful titles. I didn't define what the rankings mean, but it's got many useful titles. It's got Day Attuned, it's got Hardy, it's got debuff. You can even use Wheel of Fortune if you're going for some parry reasons. And I mean, recovery, you can just maybe slap that on to one of your casters. I mean, resist ailments would probably be better, but situationally useful. Really nice. I are going back to the basic ones. We have Strength up next. Strength is a far departure from Wheel of Fortune. All it really offers is flank attack 2 with Beast Hunter. So it gives you Slay Beast, gives you flank attack. Doesn't really matter that it's just Beast Hunter. That only gives 6 attack. This you can just put on one of your big stupid guys that costs 26 resources to heal a single point of HP, and you'll be pretty happy just getting flank attack. And I mean, the Slay tag is nice. Aside from that, there's nothing I'd really want to put on my unit. Again, maybe if you were trying to reach that 80 Hardy, you'd go for a Hardy Physique title, but I don't see myself doing that. I don't know why you'd go Enduring over Enormous. But Strength, it has one useful skill. That skill is quite useful when it comes to big expensive idiots, but you're not hiring big expensive idiots throughout the game. I don't think I'd put flank attack on some of my first units. I think I much rather prefer to invest in either economy or just more units in general. Flank attack, this is actually probably similar to Magician in the strength, but the other one at least had econ going for it. This is only useful for the flank attack title, and there's better titles available for cheaper units and for more expensive units. Sometimes you don't need flank attack. Sometimes it's better to go for either like a crit boost or some other type of slayer rather than beast slayer. Next up, we have the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man offers you Horse Stabber, which, if you played the previous games, you know is a very useful skill. Love a good crit, love a good Slay Knight. Really, this is just a Horse Stabber. You also have Counter Amp if you want. Counter Amp and Horse Stabber, though. They're pretty alright cards. Wouldn't really go for anything else here. For that reason, I guess we can put Hanged Man in B tier. You just got to be aware of what he's offering. Like, he's not going to save the world for you. He's just going to offer you Horse Stabber. So actually, he's kind of C tier. Horse Stabber, situationally Counter Amp. That's all it really has going for it. Next up, we have Death. Death is actually a really useful skill. It locks at 5 Chaos or 7 Law and Chaos. Takes maybe a little bit, but actually is available quite early on. And my goodness, this has so many useful keywords. Like, Lethal Crit. Lethal Crit is very strong. Do you want to be putting it on making your guy Glass Cannon and slower? Maybe not, because if you don't have a good defense setup, that just means that your soldier's going to die immediately to anyone with flank attack. But hey, Slay Human, pretty alright skill. Lethal Crit, pretty alright skill. I slap this on someone if I have some other thing to boost their defense. 16 attack is a whole lot, and Lethal Crit pairs really well with crit boosts, which a lot of units that are fighters have. You also have Cursed Strike, a Cursed for the Slay Divine. I don't think Slay Divine is actually that useful. There's not any real goddesses or those darn souls from Hollow, but still, it's pretty good to get Cursed Strike on a guy. Saves you. Maybe you can pick a better weapon, although the Cursed Spear is pretty good. I just pick it up if maybe I have someone with multi-ailment. Here's where the good one is, Master Blade. Helmet Split 15. This is a really powerful tile, because it allows you to put this together with some Helmet Split claws, and boom, you already have 40 Helmet Split. Now, you can find some other way to get the 20. Maybe the unit already has a base 20. But this can allow you to climb up to those crazy high Helmet Split numbers, like 70, 75, 80, which allows your guy to do massive damage. Also, Slay Mech, a really useful keyword, because people either have artillery or they have robot maids or some other thing that just is, really powerful. And then you have Poison Field. Poison Field with Slay Nature. So, Poison Field doesn't get countered by Poison Cure. The only counter to Poison Field is either having a boatload of HP heal at the end of the turn, or, you know, being a squad composed of mechs or poison type units. Is it useful? I'd say probably not, dealing 3% of the enemy's health. It's just a little bit. Gets countered out by any other healing fields, but yeah, I don't go for this. I don't go for this. I don't usually find myself wanting to pay 4,000 for a situational bonus field on my casters. Slay Nature, you don't end up facing too many nature types afterwards. I don't think, no, the warp beasts aren't nature. Most of the time the warp beasts are just going to be flying, bug, and water. So, not useful against them. Poison fielders, undead types. Are undead resistant to poison? I think undead are resistant to poison. So, it's not too useful. And 10 defense is a big penalty to have on your casters. But me bad-mouthing Poison Field and Fatal as a skill doesn't mean that this is not a useful one. This offers 15 helmet split, which is going to be the highest helmet split you have available until you get to the 50 Law and Chaos, 35 Law and Chaos. So it's really powerful. And for that, let's put it S tier, because I probably use this guy more than Wheel of Fortune once I get him. Because Helmet Split is just a really powerful skill. It is a bit expensive to try to put Helmet Split on all of your units, but again, really powerful skill. I even find myself putting Lethal Crit on some guys if I have the time. So, really strong card. Maybe it makes going for the early Chaos worth it in order to just get this guy out. Next up, we got Temperance. This is one unlocked by default. It offers you Treasure Hunt with Slay Nature. You can put that on your guy if you want. You know, you need a little boost while heading out to Diahelm. Sure. Helps you 2 out of the 3 chapters in Diahelm where you're facing Kukul and Elman. So it has that going for it. Would I go for Chef? Probably not, because it makes my guy a whole lot squishier and only gives me 1 healing. That's not going to save anyone. It's going to save me $50 healing up a skeleton. That's all. Generally, you don't want to mix your undead with your living squad. I know that undeads have really powerful tanks, but you don't want to mix your undead with your healing squad if all you're going for is equitable heal. I'd much rather go for Demon Medic and try to make it work in a different way. This one really only offers Treasure Hunt 4. And for that reason, I'm going to put it in D tier. Like, it can be useful for the Treasure Hunt. Again, Treasure Hunt, that's the only useful one here. Maybe you want to go for a debuff cure because you don't have any, you don't have good unit choice. But these are not useful. Replenish resources, not terribly useful. Maybe if this was hollow, I'd value it more because you actually spend your magic in order to improve your wall. But this is Gaia, where you really only use your resources to upkeep your units and to stop spending gold on them. So yeah, not useful. I'm not even going to acknowledge the nature boost for. Up next, we have Devil. This one is 12 Chaos or Law and Chaos equals 17. You are going to get this if you go for your lovey-dovey Law route, so have no fear. As for what it offers a Greedy, which is the highest right side treasure hunt you have until you get to those higher A growth requirement tactica, but this is the highest one that you're going to get. You're probably going to use Greedy a whole lot in order to get the 300 treasure hunt squad that you need in order to start beating up the bosses and getting the final tiers of ore drops. So that's a really useful skill. Evil's also a useful skill. Max power attacks slay human at the cost of speed. You can balance the speed out by getting some useful left side one. And the other cards also seem pretty good. Demon Noble. Yeah, you take a hit to your defense, but if you get higher multiple guys with Demon Noble, the Demon boost counteracts that. So that could be nice. Devil, sure, sap for wisdom, but hey, maybe if you need to fight all the angels that exist in this game, not a lot, but maybe that could be useful. Beyond, I don't know. That just does not seem as useful as Devil. But again, really useful ones here. I wouldn't really go for Demon Blade, but it's an option if you need it. Really, the key players here is the Treasure Hunt 12 and the Max Power Attack 30. Those ones have been so useful for me. It's a great right side one. It's a bit pricey at 8,000, but that's how you can tell that it's value. And maybe you can go Devil or Demon Noble if you want to go for something else. And hey, beyond, you can always just slap onto some idiot right before the final chapter. So, really powerful card. Probably going to be up in A tier because of just the power that it provides. It's similar to Death in that it provides just real strong skill that you really want. You want Treasure Hunt, you want Helmet Split. Those are the two most important skills, and these two provide it. Next up, we have Tower, which unlocks at 5 Chaos or 7 Law and Chaos. This is one of the unique ones that offers you Counter Ailment. That Counter Ailment, however, comes with a massive cost of your unit dies and gets crit on, idiot. So that's not too great. You have a right side Wall Breaker, which can be nice, although Chariot offers a left side Wall Breaker. Sure, it's only 25 instead of 35, but it doesn't have all the negative speed or defense. So it's a left and right side one, so there are different ones. But again, Wall Breaker, not terribly useful, but it's a Slay mech, so if you need a right side Slay mech, that's pretty nice. Not a lot of right side Slayers, so is that going for you? There's also Insecticidal if you want to go for some sort of insect counter. I haven't ever picked Cheater. I don't know if that's one's good. Like, if you don't care about Wisdom, surely that one's pretty alright. Right side, 15 damage. Slay women. Might be good, but overall, it's a pretty mundane one. I don't find myself grabbing it, but it is useful for some opportunities. It offers you Counter Ailment, which you wouldn't want to grab, but maybe if you put it on like some sort of a vampire or something else that goes bump in the night. I'm gonna put it B tier. Right? Yeah. Gives you better insect slay than the sap insect one. Because I put insecticidal on some of my casters if I want. Some of my casters or maybe a tank or something. Because, I mean, Sap Attack 6 is useful in other scenarios. So it's not like going full into the anti-insect that the other one went. I'm valuing this one too much. It's C tier. I'm sorry. Sorry for the delay, but yeah. Tower goes into C tier. It has useful skills, yeah, but I don't find myself ever picking them up. Then we have Star. Star is unlocked by default, and this one is nice. So, it offers Helmet Split if you want to sacrifice all of your speed. Probably don't want to do that, but hey, it gives Slay Mech, so you can use this one to top off your guy. You know, the main star of the show here is the Defender. It's right side forward guard. Sometimes you want to use your left side slot for different skill and this one gives you an opportunity to get forward guard on a tank that otherwise would be missing out on something important. Because, I mean, left side skills are good. It allows you a bit more maneuverability. Because you can go for, like, a crit boost on the left side and then forward guard on the right side. And then, boom, you got a really powerful counter crit tank. So that's quite nice. Stargazer, again, if you like parry memes. Not too fond of it myself, but yeah. I wouldn't recommend right side sharpshooter. It's flank attack, sure, and attack, but it doesn't have a slay tag that you want with the flank attack. Falcon. Falcon seems really bad early on, but, you know, it's an additional attack sometimes. It's a slay attack, and it's more attack. So, if you can fight the defense penalty, it can also be pretty good. So, really the star of this one, though, is the forward guard. Just because it has right side forward guard, and it's available for so many types of units, I'm going to bump that guy up to A. It's just a really powerful card. And it's cheap. It's cheap. You can spam so many tanks with this. Now, do you need that many tanks? Probably not. If you're going with that many tanks, then you're probably going to have to deal with the downside of not being able to kill anything. But maybe that's the upside, because zombies. So, Night Attuned, for those that don't know, makes it so your guys don't lose half their defense at night. Because most of the time, at night, your units lose half their defense. But Night Attuned makes it so that doesn't happen. It also means that your archers, if they have ranged attack, actually have ranged attack once more, because they lose ranged attack at nighttime. So, night attuned, pretty good on units that don't already have night type classing, so that'll be quite nice. Other ones that this one offers is medium. I mean, hey, it's a slay undead and sap undead, so you can put this onto your guys for real cheap right before heading to Alhazard. Boom. Might have anti-undead synergy. Well, you can counter them. Surprise gives lethal crit. Only time I'd see you using this is if, like, you have a big stupid dragon that costs 20 resources in order to hire, and it's not S growth, so you can put this on someone that has a whole lot of crit boost already, and boom, you have lethal crit, and that means that you don't have to pick up the bad, I don't know, you don't have to pick up the Rot Drake claws for your lethal crit. You can just get this for your lethal crit, and then you can put something better, like the Helmet Split and Parry Claws instead. So, that's useful. I'm sure someone can find a use for Vampiric Attack. Looks pretty good to put on a counter amp tank because you don't care about speed, you don't care about wisdom. Counter Vampiric Attack 5 makes it so that guys that tickle you actually heal you. So again, really useful skill here. And lastly, one of my favorite skills, Devil's Luck. This guy, Treasure Hunt, defense and speed, defense and speed, always going to be useful skills. On attackers, makes it so you have priority. On defenders, it gives you defense, and maybe makes it so you get crit less by the enemy. And Slay Nighttime, I know I was dissing on it earlier, but it's useful for Alhazar. It's useful for some of the stupid guys that have night typing, like that Eagle, Horus, or whatnot. Because you're going to find up some guys with night typing, and if someone is ever using like basic demon imps and whatnot, boom, you have a counter to it. Overall, I just really like this one because it's Treasure Hunt 5 and it boosts my stats more than the Adventure Treasure Hunt 4 did with the earlier one. So really, really good. I like it. I like this card a whole lot. And because I like it so much, I'm just going to put it in S tier. Because this is my tier list. I'm 7. Yeah. Anyway, up next we have Sun. Sun is unlocked at 25 Law or 35 Law in Chaos. Wow, this is such a juicy card. Not only do you have Divine Wrath, which is lethal crit, slay demon, and a boatload of stats, you also have Sparkly, which is day attuned with boatloads of stats. Favored, which gives you left side treasure hunt without a penalty, so that's pretty nice. You also have Mock if you want to go for some sort of parry guy. The parry synergy is finally here with the whole attack and defend. Phoenix, not nearly as good as it was in Hollow, but still it's recovery with stat boost, so yeah. God Spear, classic -8 speed, but pierce attack, and because added attacks are a lot more difficult to get in this game, maybe you just want to go for some pierce attacks. It's not competing as much with added attack titles, so hey, get some pierce. Is it going to be useful all the time? No, but when it's useful, it's nice damage boost. What is it, plus 100% damage? Yeah, pretty good. Makes it so you can go through tanks if they don't have Piercinal. Sun Worship, I don't find myself going for it, but that's a very impressive amount. Like 10% stats, you can sleep at 25% stats. That's a massive boost. Downside is, of course, that it's a worship type, so you're going to want to put this on a unit that has Night Attuned, and then you're building around the units too much. Downside of Sun is that you don't unlock it all the time. If you're playing Law, you might get it really late if you're going for the whole affection thing, because you want to... There's multiple ways that you can play Law. You can either play Law maxing for Law and Chaos in order to go for the Titty ending, or you can go for Law maximizing affection with everyone, which means that you don't have too much Law or Chaos to throw around. But as a benefit, once you beat the game, you get to see everyone's scene. You get to pick everyone. And then you also get their little 6 affection bonuses. And then you end up picking Nighttime Bride Vanilla for that +2 hidden commander count at the end. It's an expensive card. That's the thing holding it back. It's an A growth requirement, so it's rarity 6. So you're not going to be able to put this on some of the big, juicy dragons. You're going to be able to put this on monkeys, and that's about it. But man, those monkeys are going to be so full of Divine Wrath. As for this power level of this card, I think it's pretty beautiful. It's it's up there in A. Like, there's not really too bad of a skill on this one. I can see there's situation for everything. Up next, we have Judgment. Judgment is the Chaos alternative. You can get it at 25 Chaos or Law and Chaos 35 total. This one is a lot. This one's kind of similar to the previous. What this one offers is it offers Helmet Split 20. Helmet Split 20. You think Helmet Split 15 is good? Helmet Split 20, if that bumps you up from 75 to 80, that's an extra 25% damage. So 5% Helmet Split is 25% more damage. That's really powerful. You can also go one-winged if you want Light Field versus Devils. I don't feel too great about field type cards, but maybe you feel like it. You can slap Mutated on the right side if you want a absolute beast of a card, although I will show you later that Mutated is actually kind of weak compared to the opportunity available on the next one. If you're deficient in any stat, you can go crit boost, counter resist, or maybe even God Hammer. I don't like God Hammer as much as God Spear, but that's just me. Triple Strike is kind of cool because it's one of those added attacks that doesn't have a penalty. Instead, it has just flat upside of more damage, more speed. Slave flying. I guess that's pretty alright. But really, the thing here is Helmet Split. Helmet Split 20. That is a very powerful effect. And because of that, I can't put this anything lower than A. Like Helmet Split 20. Very good. Very good. Reason why it isn't going S tier is because you have World, which unlocks when you have 50 Law and Chaos. And the reason why it doesn't get S, and World will get S, is because look at Light and Dark. Light and Dark is Helmet Split 20 with all the stat bonuses of Mutant. This is by far one of the best things you can slap on any of your units. Because Helmet Split is a very powerful skill. And this gives you a very powerful skill, allows you to hit that 70, 80 Helmet Split threshold. That makes it so your guys can actually start doing damage to tanks at higher difficulties. Also, you have added attack 100. We don't have that in this game. That's just +1 attack. Sure, it comes with the downside of less hard-hitting attacks, but who cares about -15, -10, -20 attack? Because, again, these effect-based stats, and they scale weirdly with unit level. Who cares about -20 attack? You probably already have 160 of it, and you can always just boost it more with all those stat boosts because you're probably running boost nature 50 or something stupid like that. It's +1 attack. That's pretty good. Also, you can go spell barrier. That's spell barrier 40. Now you don't need to build around units with high spell barrier or build around commanders. Now you can just make any old idiot a spell barrier guy, and that will keep you safe from most angels. You also have strong looking, party physique 20, boatload of stats, left side. You don't often get that. Most of the time you get Mom or Titanic on like the right side. This is left side hardy physique, which allows you to stack with the other one. Boom, you got 40 hardy physique. This card is so good because it allows you to get to the breakpoints, get to the max level, because these percentages are crazy. 80% reduction, 5 times. That's 5 times multiplier. So, 80% reduction in damage, 5 times effective health, 80% less armor, that's 5 times damage. This is by far one of the strongest cards. It makes sense why it's gated behind Law and Chaos 50. Only you're probably not getting this on your Law route. You're not getting this on your Law route. You're getting this on your Chaos route. But this is going to give you the power in order to hopefully face Divine Angel Amelia, because my goodness, Sork Angel Amelia is a monster. But this might allow you to get there as long as you get it early enough. You train up some units with this guy. That's going to be real good. Onto the reverse cards. These ones are unlocked through special story beats. This one is hatching 30 eggs to get to the reverse fool. The reverse fool, you go through the whole process of getting 30 avatars, you kind of unlock this one naturally. What does it offer you? It offers you a weak multi-hit. You don't like weak multi-hits. You want your hits to be strong. You don't want your guy to hit like a noodle and then have a 1 in 4 chance of hitting like a noodle again. So really the only benefit here is the target miss, which you can put on one of your hard hitters, and you know, it makes it so your guy will not take any damage unless, as long as you have your nulls properly in place. So like if you have cross null, you can go target miss, your guy's not dying. That's pretty useful. Makes it so you can skip out on a forward guard and make your tank more damage resistant. But aside from that, there's not really much. There's mech boost, if you want to go for just mech boost with no special features. There's human boost if you want to go for speed. I don't know. I don't like boost types cards, and really that all that has is target miss. This isn't too painful. It just really has one, and I don't use that one, so it's probably going in D tier for me. Up next, we have the Reverse Magician. This one is 70 avatars, so this one's going to, you might actually have to work towards. And then when you work towards it, you pay 4,000, you put it on your C plus type growth unit, and then you realize that you don't really like fields. You have anti-human field, which, you know, is a good slave type, gives you field, which are much more useful than blast damage. You can get this stacking on top of your other field. You know, it's not terrible. But then you look at the other options. You have like Frozen Land and Thunder King for your special stat fields, which I don't know if they have an advantage over Dark Field. Maybe something about moon phases, but generally I'd say don't go for them, because then you end up facing some fire type guys and they take no damage because you have Fire Field. And voila, at +8 attack, kind of questionable. Then you also have the spirit types, which give you a boost and then slay of the opposite element. But they offer a rather measly stat boost. Like, congrats, you can slay fire, all the fire enemies that totally exist. Probably you'd go for slay thunder, because thunder robots are actually kind of common. But that's just Aqua Boost 6 and 4 defense. Why would I go for Aqua Boost 6 and 4 defense when I can either get my guy more crit, I can get my guy more helmet split, I could get my guy tankier with hardy physique, or I can get my guy forward guard. Because, again, you can put just a left side forward guard instead. I could put my guy with defense tactics. Probably don't go for defense tactics, because unit type boosts are really useful if you actually have a squad of them. But, again, this is just stats and a Slayer type. That becomes a lot less good as the game goes on. Like, if this is early, maybe you can make a case for, oh yeah, boost effects are good, because then you end up facing the enemy with 40 stats on all of your units versus their 20 stats on all their units. Your guys pummel them. Later on, though, instead of getting 6 extra stats on all of your units, why not instead go for a unit that deals 5 times damage, or a unit that takes 5 times as much beatings, or a unit that has a healing field, or a unit that has a damage field, or really just anything. What I'm trying to say here is that by the time you unlock this by training 70 avatars, because that is a whole lot of medallions, a lot of tarot cards that you're putting into this, what you get as your reward, you get something that's only useful for like the first 4 chapters, and then you get Dark Field, Slay Human. This one is not useful by the time it unlocks, and for that reason, I am going to put this guy all the way down in D tier. Sure, it might seem more useful, but by the time you get this, you have plenty of unit choices. Instead of paying 4,000 ether in order to get a Fire Boost 6, you can just hire a better fire guy. Instead of paying for Aqua Boost 6, hire a Kraken instead. You don't need to spend all this time turning your fish guys and your mermen and your remora, giving them a little extra boost for Aqua, when you can instead make better units that better scale into the late game. High Priestess reversed. This one you get for training Tomo up, so you will unlock it eventually. You can bum rush this. I wouldn't recommend it. There's some numbers as for the ideal way to get it. What does this one offer? It offers you defense only, resist ailments, division heal. Actually, a whole lot of these seem really good. Because, sure, it's a B growth rarity, so you're going to pay a pretty penny, and you're going to only be able to put this on all right guys, not on really powerful guys, but resist ailments, really useful on non-supreme casters, because turns out you like your guys actually doing their end of turn stuff. Parry 20. Again, I don't really go for parry meme builds, but if you were a fan of Venus Blood Frontier, and you remember the parry sound effect first time you heard that one, and it's just it sticks with you. So maybe you want to relive the good old parry days. You can go for it on this one. You're going to get this one actually all right. It's going to be what? 30 turns after Tomo. So what? Maybe turn 70? I don't know. It also offers strat support if you if you're feeling that. And then concealed. Concealed is actually just crazy strong. Put it on some useless archer, some useless caster that instead of having defense only has ranged attack and no other attack boost. Put it on that, make them take loads more damage. Because not only do they take 50% less damage, it just seems like a really strong card. Sure, you get it late. Sure, it's expensive, but it offers really useful skills. And for that, I'm going to put it in B. Why only B? Because I use it on 2 units. But those units, they get pretty nice. Pretty good. Up next, we have the Reverse Empress. This one is unlocked at Chapter 7. Chapter 7, if I recall, is going to be... This is after you go beat up Asteria. And then what you have here is you're going to be facing insects. You're going to be facing basically insects and mechs. Although, if you're going into New Game Plus, Sap Demon, again, is very powerful Slay type, so maybe it's worth considering. Other than that, one shot, I would say don't go for it. Sure, you might say, wow, 40% extra damage. 30 extra damage. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, but it makes your guy a bit too much glass cannony. Gonna make him die to all attacks if you don't have proper stuff. I could see maybe if you want to use your archer as the bait, and then just make sure that you have a tank with forward guard behind it. But other than that, I don't know. Also offers a spell barrier if you don't already have someone with. Most of the time, you can just get your spell barrier through commanders, though. Strat barrier. I don't find it too. The annoying part about enemy tactical skills is not that they deal loads of damage to it. Most of the time, the problem is that they buff up and give them plus 30 stats, so 30% stats. That's not good. Mother, that's Hardy Physique 15 on left slot. Combine that with the 20 that you can get on the right slot real easily with the normal Empress, and you're talking about 35% damage reduction. That's quite nice on its own, but most of the time you aren't putting this on its own. You're putting it with a 20, either 20% hardy on either a shield or a armor piece, because you want your wide or piercinal. So that gives you 55%, and then hopefully that you put this on a guy that had 25% base hardy. So that's really good. So Thunder God, debatable how useful Slay Demon is, but actually it will have its uses in Chaos Route. I do know that much, because you will end up facing the rest of the army. So also it's just good stats, so you can put it for that reason. For that reason, I'm going to say Reverse Empress is probably a nice solid B. Quite strong card. Gives you really good hardy. Gives you pretty strong stat. I should probably pick up Thunderguard more in order to see it shine. Next up, we have Reverse Emperor. This one is only on Chaos, so you need to do Chaos Route, and then you get this right before the final chapter. So, is it going to be that useful? Probably not. It offers you a helmet split, 15 on B-type growth. It's also right side helmet split, so you can combine that with the left side Master Blade from Death, and then boom, you have 30 helmet split. That could be good, but I never played with it. Because by the time that you get this on Chaos, you will probably have the A-type world Arcana. So you don't want to go 15 helmet split. You want to go for the 20 helmet split that you unlocked with world. Maybe for B growth units instead of A growth units. So I could see it being useful there. But again, you shouldn't disrespect the 15 helmet split because that can allow you to cut through armor like butter. But aside from that, not noticing too much. Uh, I don't know the time when Dictator's ever useful because we're cornered, it really falls off. It's useful early on if you want to create lots of little squads, but by the time you're this far in Chaos, the problem is not that you don't have enough units for the squads, the problem is that you don't have enough squads to defend all the key locations that you want. It's 15 helmet split. It's probably pretty good, but I didn't end up using it because, again, I went Law first and then I went Chaos. I'm probably going to have to do Chaos one more time to unlock the other Hidden Commander Asteria, and then probably Law 2 more times because I need to get Titi's Ending and I need to get Ether Marksman Emilia. So I don't know. Maybe if I use it more, I can see, wow, 15 extra helmet split's going to be so useful on all these B growth units. You know, not D growth units, not C growth units, not A growth units, but just on these B growth units. Maybe I just needed a little extra helmet split. I'm not seeing it though. Next up, we have the Reverse Hierophant. This one's going to be 60 Train Elman, so this one's going to be unlocked maybe Chapter 5, so you're going to get it relatively early for the reverse cards because Elman, you don't need to mingle with him at all. You just train him or mod him. What does it offer? It offers you Equitable Heal. That's actually a pretty nice healing amount. The cost is not too high. It's just a C growth one, so it's not like you need to, you know, spend 8,000 for it. It also has Resist Ailments, which, you know, it's pretty nice right side compared to Tomo's Reverse Ailments, which requires a left side slot. This one offers a right side slot, so again, that's also going to be useful. I would not go for God Hand. Target heal does not heal undead, and the only time I'd see you wanting to specifically heal the tank and not just give a nice big squad heal would be if you have some stupid super hardy undead with forward guard taking everything. It also offers Eternal left slot, gives you 15 recovery, Slay Demon as well, and just a whole lot of wisdom, whole lot of defense. I'd slap that on most guys if I don't know what to do with them. So, overall, pretty strong stuff. Pretty affordable as well. Gives you resist ailments for your casters if they aren't supreme. Gives them Eternal, which gives them recovery, so you can stack that with resist ailments. Now you don't have to worry about seal attacks at all. Your casters will revive once they get one shot from some flank attack enemy. So, yeah, pretty good stuff. For that, I'm going to actually bump Hierophant all the way up to S tier. Really good card. Really good card. Maybe A tier. I don't know if it actually... Yeah, I'm going to put A tier. I don't know if these actually make the difference. I just like them. Good, useful stuff that you can just slap on. Is it going to be suddenly make something that didn't work? Probably not. Probably just good, solid cards. Up next, we have Reverse Lovers, which is 60 Train Kukul. You're going to get this one after Elman because you actually need to mingle with Kukul. What does it offer you? It offers you human boost if you're still using humans. I don't know, maybe you're going some human nature one. I did not use the Amazons in this game, so maybe that's actually pretty good. It also gives you 20 evade. You can use that one if you're going to go for some sort of bait, but most of the time I find that evade baits are really only useful in the late game when enemies have dimensional slash or something, because normally my I either have range null, I have nighttime, or I just have, you know, tanks with forward guard. So evade baiting, I don't see too great a use for it. I like going for double forward guard tanks. That's my strategy. So, but if you do like going for evade bait, rejecting can be quite useful. The Sap Man, Sap Woman, Lady Killer, and Queen. This is just the same crap as it was in the previous one, except this time it costs 8,000, and you're going to put it on a B plus growth units. I don't see myself ever wanting to do that. Really, the only thing I'm seeing from here is the other three. Overflowing can be situationally useful if you either have someone with counterattack or multi-ailment. So if you do have one, vampire attack starts looking a whole lot better. If you don't have multi-ailment or counter amp, I probably wouldn't go for vampiric attack. But hey, maybe it's the sustain that you need if you can't afford dragon scales. Uh, I don't see a anti-human human boost being too useful because as the game goes on, you're going to realize that probably the best squad is making use of your commanders, and your commanders don't want to be building around humans. They want to be building around the stuff that they command. Um, but I don't really see a spot for human boost because you're going to have two dragon squads, two mech squads, two beast squads. No, not two dragon squads, two mech squads, two nature squads, an aqua squad that's probably going to be your treasure hunt. Um, and then you're gonna have maybe more dragon squads or something stupid like that. Overall, you just don't have enough free time in order to go for your super funny meme human squad. And the thing is that God of Love doesn't even really give you attack or speed that you'd want on those humans in order to deal damage quickly. It's gonna give you more defense and what? So I don't know. I don't see it. Again, I don't value boosts. But I will respect the vampiric attack 10. That's really useful for counter amp. And for that, I'm putting it C tier. There you go. Next up, we got the reverse chariot. This one is 45 train merit. I don't know why it unlocks so early. You're probably going to get this one quite soon, and you're going to be like, wow, look at that. Wall builder 40. And then you realize that wall is absolutely useless thing to level up unless you're worried about having to face wall breaker. But even then, it's not useful. Wall builder 40, that's going to be like defense formation 4. It is not good. Because most of the time you have 100 wall by base on your rooms that you're fighting in. Here they're going to have 100 wall, maybe 50 wall on the low end. But let me tell you that that's not good. Because 40 more than 100 is only 2 extra defense. And it's not going to be that impressive. So you don't go for aerial. You don't go for aerial. It's a bait skill. You might think, wow, wall builder 40 and 20 defense? That's really just 20 defense, and you can get better stuff by going for hardy physique. Most of the time, if you're going for a defensive thing, you don't even want to slay Aqua. So, yeah. Proactive can be a useful forward guard. It gives you a lot more defense and a bit of attack, so maybe if you're going for counter amp. It does sack a bit of speed, though. And sometimes you don't always want to spend all your money on your tanks. You'd much rather spend your ether elsewhere, like hiring more robot maids. Winter Catfish offers you defense only and a load of defense, but has the penalty of big red scary numbers that I'm not going to pick up. It's defense only with a special slay type, but it's also the left slot, which generally you want to put some either 4 damage field in or something else. I don't really see it. And then you have speed formation 12. I guess if you want to boost speed, sure. Lethal crit. If you just want the lethal crit, but most of the time you can face the consequences of going for like a death lethal crit. So overall, I'd say these ones are not nearly as useful as the other chariot. Now, is it bad enough that I'd say poo-poo crit trash? No. It's probably just C tier for me. The defense only situationally can be useful. I'm not going to use it though. Forward guard, it's forward guard. It's more numbers on the forward guard. Maybe that's enough, but I don't like this card. Reverse Justice. This one is for clearing law and chaos. That's right. This again is a new game plus card. You're not going to see this one ever. And what do you get when you finally play the game a whole lot of times? A whole lot of times on the same slave slot in order to unlock everything. You get seal attack. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Lots of stats on that guy. Strat barrier 20. If you're worried about damage, most of the time I'm worried about the enemy gaining 20% more stats and then me not being able to kill him, but that aside. Defense formation 20, that's quite strong. Defense formation 20 with 30 defense. That's whew. You also have divine boost if you want to just go for your angel squad. attack formation. Like, these ones are just alright. It's New Game Plus, and then you have to find someone to put Seal Attack on. Seal Attack, I'd say, probably only useful if you have a multi-ailment or a counter-ailment, because Seal Attacking one unit that you're targeting, spoiler, that unit is probably going to die to the 3 other attackers that you have in your squad, so getting that Seal Attack, not terribly useful, and that one's just the one that pops out to me. I don't see myself using these ones, and it's a really expensive one to unlock. You have to clear Law and Chaos, so that is a whole lot of time. We're talking maybe 70 hours. You get this 70 hours into the game, and your rewards are pretty modest. I'm just going to put a B, mainly because it just has a sheer amount of power, but I'm not getting this one for all the divine boosts. I'm getting this card in order to hire fallen angels. I'm getting this card so I can hire Gregory. I'm not getting this card to put on my units for Seal Attack. Next up, we got the Reverse Hermit. This one is train 100 avatars. This, give birth to 100 eggs. That is something that you actually have to work towards, because what, you got 9 mothers or something like that? Yeah, you got like 9 mothers. Or 11. I don't know. But you got a couple mothers. They really only can host 12 slots each. You got to train 100 of these suckers. So either you're going to be hiring and firing. I would not recommend doing that. Seems like a big waste of Tactica. I'd understand if you were doing it in Abyss, but hiring and firing here doesn't make too much sense. What do you get for training all these avatars? Not good. You get amplification. Woohoo! I can get this one from the previous stage one, but this time it nerfs my attack and speed. Instead of just nerfing a little 4 defense and giving me 10 wisdom, it gives me 10 defense and 10 wisdom, and then it gives me big scary red numbers and 5 amp. Now, amp can be very powerful. It makes it so you can do massive end of turn damage, because you end up with like 5% amplification, another 5%, do 15 extra damage, extra damage. You get 3 guys with field 20, and boom, you're talking about a whole lot of damage. But aside from that, what are we talking on this card? We have Acid Field. Acid Field, not good versus insects, not good versus water. That's actually going to be a lot of your enemies, because maybe it's a good versus mechs, but you end up with a lot of insects if you're going Chaos route. You end up fighting a lot of chaos insects, period, because that's what Chapter 7 is made out of. It's made out of insects and mechs, so bit questionable there. And then you got boosts. You got mech boost, you got insect boost, you got wisdom boosts. You're not going to be able to hire insects unless you're going Chaos route first. Just because, like, insects, they required certain tactica, and I don't find myself desiring to switch into insects when I already have such strong squads without it. That's the problem here. It's that insect squads are just not good. Because the other squads just beat them out by comparison. Sure, you can go for some really cool, quirky insect room shenanigans, and then you can go pick the insect mother title and like Kukul or insect this there. But then at that point, you're just investing way too much on this one squad. I mean, they're resistant to Slayers. They're resistant to Acid. But I don't find myself wanting to go insects most of the time. I find myself wanting to just follow the commander types that they give me. So yeah. I don't like it. Doop. Goes down there. Sure, maybe it's useful for some types of casters, but not for me. Next up, we have Wheel of Fortune. This one is unlocked from fully training Milia at the 80 Milia screen. What do you get out of this? Well, you get dragon stuff. You hire a dragon, you put Leyline on it, boom, that's a boatload of speed, a boatload of wisdom, boatload of attack. So that means that you're going to be able to use your 4 skills every single battle with all that wisdom. You're going to hit fast, and then you're going to dragon boost. And that dragon boost is going to make all of your other dragons do this. So put Leyline on all of your dragons, all of your guys that go into a dragon squad. Really powerful stuff. And then you have Dragon King, which is 30 attack and 15 speed. That is massive stats. As well as Slay Dragon, really useful skill. And Wild Fang. Wild Fang, for those that don't know, gives you Basically, listed here it's 12%. 12% increase in stats for every time that an enemy in the opposite squad gets killed. So you kill the enemy squad. Maybe you kill one or two. Boom, 24% extra stats. I don't actually know if it like scales on top of itself, but this thing only gets beat by canceling attack. Not all enemies have canceling attack, so getting a crazy wild thing, oh man, it is scary. Let me tell you, it is scary. I'm pretty sure it stacks on itself. Like this thing goes crazy. You get some Wild Fang Dragon Squad. You put them on like you put them in Division 2. Division 1's just going to be your tank division. I don't know, full of undead or something. Just really chunky guys. Division 2, you put dragon stuff. You end up killing the enemy division that, I don't know, it just has a bunch of stupid elves or something in it. Then you get crazy high Wild Fang, and then your guys just wreak havoc on the other divisions because they have like 600 stats. It's crazy. Wild Fang is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to say that. I like affirming words. I especially like affirming words too. Words on screen, so yeah. Wild Fang, really powerful with dragons, and seeing that dragons are going to make 2 or 3 squads, really powerful card. Only thing holding it back is the price tag and the fact that you need to wait until later on in the game. But that's fine. Next up, we got Reverse Strength. This one you get for Lala. What does it offer you? It offers you counter amp on your tanks. I guess that can be alright. Self-destruct barrier. Again, I'd rather just put on some proper clothes on my guy or something. Or commanders, but if you can't build around those, sure, it can be useful. Wall Breaker 40. You do not want wall breakers. I'm sorry. Wall Breaker 40 is... it's not what you want. And then let's see what else. You got Spell Absorb. That's basically just means that spell damage directed at this unit doesn't do it. I think it's only spell damage. It's non-acid, non-poison spell, so makes it so like if your opponent's going for a whole lot of blow up cards, this unit doesn't die and instead heals your other units. Problem is, if your enemy is running a whole lot of blow up cards, it kills all of your other squad, and then this guy dies because it's standing by itself. And Werewolf, mental attack, lowers loyalty, steals force from the enemy. I don't need to steal force from the enemy. I mean, sure, it's flank attack 5, but lowering their loyalty doesn't do anything. It's more annoying when the enemy does it to me, not when I'm doing it to the enemy, because they're bots and they don't have tilt factors. So all this one offers is counter amp 2, and just like the original strength, that is not good. And for that, it's going in D tier. Sorry, it's just not good skills. I don't even find myself wanting to pick up this self-destruct barrier because by the time I realize I'm facing suicidal mechs and they're going to make it so I'm going to have to pay healthcare on all of my soldiers, why would I hire a new soldier and then have to heal him up to full? I'll just bite the bullet and sink all my coffers and do all that other stuff. Here we go. We got Hanged Man. This one is Clearing Chaos Route. This one I didn't have for a while. I just got decided to go hire some guys on my new game +3. You know, this one's pretty nice. Sap speed, I'd do that. I'd put sap speed. Slays Beast gives me stats. I like that. Risk Taker gives me helmet split and other stats. I don't really like that much, but hey, you can put it on a C-type unit, so more helmet split, more the merrier. Worm Killer. Love Rainbow Venom. Rainbow Venom, really nice. It gives you Curse Strike as well as Defense debuff, and I think Paralysis. I don't know the last time I've actually gotten use out of this, because the problem is everything is either Supreme or someone has an absolute cure in their division, but if they don't, hey. It also gives good stats on an Insect Slay. Insect Slay is really good in this game because your enemies are going to be insects most of the time. And, yeah. Good stats on that one. Then you got Sacrifice. Self-Destruct, 20. Slay Beast for some reason. If it was just Self-Destruct 20, probably wouldn't pick it up. Slay Beast, Wisdom. Put this on one of your robots. Have the robot do a field a few times. Probably also have healing. Make the enemy attack it. Enemy one-shots it. Boom, blows up. Now you don't have to worry about an enemy. Doesn't work if they have Godly Physique or Self-Destruct defense, but still. Seems like a really good card. From the times I played with it, I like it. I'm going to put it B. Like, it's respectable. It's respectable. It's a seed growth card, so I don't use it on too many units, but on the units that I do use it on, hey, it's been pretty good. Death, reverse death. This one is you get for training vanilla. What does it offer you? It offers you lethal crit if you want to lose all of that wisdom. I'm scared of big red numbers, but that looks pretty good to me. Undead boost 20. If you don't care about speed, you're gonna, or you can just put this on multiple guys. You know, that seems like it would be quite strong if you just get some undead with it. Sap Squad 10, by itself, not great, but if you can stack this on top of other sap, the difference from between 50 and 60 sap, you know, that can be pretty nice at closing the gap. But saps really fall off when you're at higher difficulties because enemies get more scaling than you in order to make up for the fact that they don't have titles or most of the time good equipment. Probably wouldn't go for that one. So what I'm going for here is I'm going for Curse Strike for that boatloads of attack and speed, as well as that nice Slay attribute. Problem with this, it's rarity 6. I'm investing all of my family fortune into this card. And what am I getting back? I'm getting back Curse Strike, which doesn't work too great, and I'm getting back a Slayer type and a bunch of stats on one guy. I'm not seeing it. This is not one of those overpowered skills like Helmet Split or Hardy. And for that, I'm just going to put a B tier. Like, that Curse Strike is really scary. That Curse Strike, Fatal Resist? Fatal Resist is also pretty nice. Slay Human. I don't know. Like, it's got good stats. If I had an infinite bank account and a desire to get rid of one of my squads and make it a third undead squad, yeah, sure, I'd go for it. Temperance. This is 60 trained Lucretia, and what does it offer you? It offers you Treasure Hunt. That's about it. Oh, and Bounty Hunter 6 if you really like. Most of the time, I'm just doing this for the Treasure Hunt Scale Bearer. I like this one because it gives me 10 Treasure Hunt. Sure, it's not as great as Greedy, which offers me 12 Treasure Hunt, but this one doesn't have any scary red numbers, so I like it. Gives me Wisdom, gives me Speed. Wisdom means that I can use my skills in order to keep my squad alive when I'm treasure hunting. Tactical skills are quite useful. Speed means that I can hopefully kill the enemy before they kill my Shamash for the third time. Self-destruct wall, probably not going to be using that. Sap mech, probably not going to be using that. Treasure hunt 4. Most of the time, it's not worth going for the little treasure hunt because you can get treasure hunt either from the 25 law card. You can get the favored for 6 treasure hunt, or is it 8? I think it's 6 treasure hunt. I won't find myself doing resourceful. Most of the time, it's better to have your treasure hunt guys stay alive than have a lot of treasure hunt and then have them die because they don't count their treasure hunt when they're dead. So, it has Scale Bearer. I really like Scale Bearer though. So, for that reason, I'm just gonna put it in B. Yep. Because you know it's nice. It's nice stuff. Next up, we got the Devil, Reverse Devil for 45 train of Carmella. This one offers you Demon King, which is crit boost on the right side, as well as Slay Divine if you really want it. Next up, we have Freed, which is pretty good spell barrier. That's nice stuff. Sure isn't something that you want to... you can just put it on your archer or something. Most of the time, you want to put this all this bait stuff on your wizards that just do nothing but end of turn, but hey, you can slip this on anyone. Gives good stats. Wisdom Formation 15. Sure, probably seems pretty good. Dark Field 6. That's a pretty respectable field amount. Put that on with a bunch of other fields. Hey, that's lots of damage. And Betrayer, you might say, oh no, I'm losing defense. But with target miss, most of the time that defense loss isn't too bad, because you can use it as bait. This one is getting held back by its prize tag, but I don't think it's that terrible. I'm probably just going to put it in B tier. Oh, I forgot to grab that on cam. Let's go back. I'm probably just going to put it in B tier. Yep. That one's pretty honest. Next up, we got the Reverse Tower. This one is Clearing Chaos Route. And what does it offer you? It offers you multi-ailment and counter-ailment. But this time the counter-ailment doesn't give you minus 20 defense and speed. So that one's pretty nice. Multi-ailment gives you just all upside. I want to put that on some sort of wide attacker, you know. Multi-ailments and wide attacks. Not often that you get to put them. Wow. I had time to play with this yet because again I just cleared Chaos Route, but hey, looks pretty good. The Poison Field 5 doesn't seem nearly as good as Acid Field 4 that you can get from the Sage, but my goodness, does that counter ailment or multi-ailment look so juicy. Slap that with Vampire, slap that with Rainbow Venom, slap that with Seals, slap that with anything. It just gives you the opportunity to make so much units, so much more strong. Because I haven't played with it, I'm just going to give it a modest B, but I could definitely see that being high up there. Next up, we got the Reverse Star. Oh my goodness, this one is so good. This one is so good. I spam this guy all the time. Why do I spam this guy all the time? Because it offers you Dauntless. Dauntless is useful if you're going on New Game Plus and you just want to get that loyalty up. Makes it so you have to spend less time in combat and more time leveling up all of your other guys if you're some sort of weird completionist that values loyalty on your guys instead of like level or good strength. But hey, Dauntless gives them opportunities to resist like Charm and all the other fun stuff that isn't quite covered by resist ailments. Also gives you access to Dual Wielder. Dual Wielder is probably one of the better added attack ones. It gives you a small penalty of -5 defense, but that one doesn't matter. You can just buff it out. Gives you speed, gives you damage, gives you Slay Demon, which you can use. Sure, you need to get 60 train with Shigeru, which means that you're probably getting this after Carmella, but hey, gives you added attack. That's a 30% chance of making your unit attack again. Seems pretty good. I don't know. I like it. I've just put it on a lot of guys. I don't really use Rakshasa, but because I'm scared of big red numbers, but if you don't care about wisdom, which you probably don't need to be cared about, 25% damage, 25% extra, 25% more damage, 25 extra damage. Slay flying, man, it might be good. I'm gonna say, yeah, this is pretty good. I'm gonna put it all the way up in A. Why? Because I don't know. I like spamming it. I like cards that allow me to just slap it onto a unit without thinking. Dauntless and added attack, I can slap them on without thinking. Also has Yin Yang for target miss. That can be pretty good. Also, it's affordable. It's only C rarity, so that you can actually spam this properly without having to start a new game. Next up, we got the Reverse Moon, which requires 99 train on Rain. Yeah, you can get this card, and then you can never use it on anything because it's rarity 6, 12,000 cost guy. What does it offer you? It offers you Nocturnal 25, which probably is quite good because you can go Nocturnal 25 and Night Attune together. Boom. That's a lot of stats, especially during nighttime. But that's not actually what you're here for. You're here for the Moonlight. Moonlight gives you Night Attuned and a beautiful amount of stats. You also feature 2 different types of spell immunity. You have the one that absorbs and the one that reflects. I don't use this one, and I also don't use Shadow Clone, even though it's a left side of 8 skill that doesn't give you too many penalties. I just don't use this. I do like the concept of having a nice expensive moon, but the problem is that it's A growth, so most of the units that I want to put Night Attuned on because they have Sun Worship or something, they're high tier angels that can't even afford it because they say, I'm C growth or D growth or some other growth. It's a good card, though. Good card. No, not. Okay. It only has one thing going for it. It has one thing going for it. It can be good, but maybe not. Next up, we got the Reverse Sun. I don't know anything about this card. Next up, we got the Reverse Judgment, which is for clearing Law Route. It gives you Treasure Hunt 10. This is what you need in order to eke out the last little bit so you can get your 400 Treasure Hunt squad. You can go for Counter Amp if you really want. It's a rarity 7, which means that you can only put it on S-type growth guys, but hey, you clear Law Route. Boom, you got this guy. That's pretty nice, hey? Yeah, I'm just gonna say that this guy is pretty good. Let's put him A tier. Seems like really good stats. Now, for the other ones, we got Reverse Sun, which is titty ending. Yeah, and we also have World, which is Law Chaos Entity, so you can really see that I don't have a full save slot here, because I don't know what type of juicy stuff they have, but if this is anywhere like this Judgment one, it's probably A, really expensive, B, pretty cool, and for that, I'm probably just going to chuck these guys up in S tier, because I don't know. So yeah, there we go. There's the tier list. Or I guess I can make a new tier that says, I don't know, but they're probably pretty strong, right? I don't know. Bit difficult to obtain, but oh my goodness, probably super juicy. Anyway, that's going to be it for the tier list. Oh wait, here we go. I got this nice little thing that you can screenshot if you so desire. It gives you little unit growth requirements. Or you can just, you know, when you click on the unit, you can decide not to. You can just see which ones you can put where. But yeah. Bit more difficult to understand than the medallions or Tactica from Frontier or Hollow, but you know, I like what they went with this one. It was kind of fun going for Arcana cards. Fun stuff, and please have a fantastic day.